We're going to start the Ojai Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. We do a call of order.
Thank you, Vice Chair McCrory Rylander. Commissioner Becker? Here. Commissioner Intner?
Here.
Commissioner Basor?
Here.
Commissioner Ford?
Here.
Chair Haney and Commissioner Roddick are both absent this evening.
Okay. So let's stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, should we do the public comments?
Yeah, I don't see any speaker cards, but it's always good to invite public comment and see if there's anybody out there that would like to speak on any items not on the agenda at this time.
Do we have anyone that would like to speak? No. Okay. So let's move on to presentations. This is actually a very small agenda tonight, so we'll be moving swiftly through here. Since we don't have any presentations, we will start with Sergeant Arthur with a police report.
Terrific. So I have an hour, you say. Okay, well, real briefly, the last month in stats, Libby Park, we were called out 5 times for suspicious subjects, 1 for a juvenile problem, 1 for a person drunk, and 1 battery, physical, beating someone up. We arrested 1 person for the, actually 3 arrests. 1 was for the drunken public, 1 for the battery, and another one, the deputy walks in the park, contacts someone, and made an arrest. So it's pretty quiet. Skate park, we were called out there 5 times, 2 fights, and 1 for narcotics, and 2 suspicious subjects. 1 arrest was made for the fight. It was a citation. But the narcotics and the other fight, no one was there when we got there. So, and sure.
Is that taking place in the skate park or in the parking lot?
The report just says the skate park.
Okay.
So,
because it's that whole area. Okay.
Yeah. Sarasota, we were called there 6 times for suspicious subjects. And 1 time for check the well-being, someone needed medical attention. We made 2 arrests. 1 was actually for the suspicious subject, so it was a very good call. I don't have the details of it. And the other one was a deputy rolls into the park and makes contact and makes an arrest. So, Clough Park, we were called there twice and 1 arrest for a fight. So, pretty good percentages, I guess. But at any rate, that doesn't include, like, for instance, we were officially at Libby Park 47 times on the radio. So those, I'm not going to throw all those numbers out because, like I said, I go through the park quite often. I don't go out on the radio. I just walk through to see what's going on. One thing we're going to do, December 1st starts the shelters, the homeless shelters. Last year we had a problem when they would release in the morning when they would leave. The group of individuals that typically float from one location to another and we get calls about would dump out into the nearest park to wherever they stayed that night, and the party continues. So we're going to be in that party. So if we will visit the parks closest to where the shelter was, just to encourage them not to loiter or do anything illegal. So we're going to make that an effort every morning as long as the shelters are open. Not, again, they're welcome to be in the park, but last year they were just collecting, and you could mark where they stayed the night before to what park we had the calls at. So we want to be there before we get the calls. So now that you don't have a big agenda, who's got a question? Some of you must have a question, Sunday.
I already asked mine.
Okay, all right. No, it's always a pleasure. Thank you. Good night.
And then on to Public Works update. Take that, Steve.
Mr. Kotsis, please.
I'll start it off. Before we get to the Sarasota office remodel, I'll just mention a couple of side things that, of course, we get excited about at the rec department. It may not be exciting for everyone looking from the outside in, but we got a new riding lawnmower, or should I say Public Works did, so maybe we'll be cutting that lawn a lot faster, or cut back on man hours doing that park. The gym floor, usually once a year or once every 2 years, the gym floor needs to get buffed and polished and then resealed. So that is happening during our Thanksgiving break. It's the time when gymnastics is down, so we're taking that opportunity to do just that, buff out the floor. And it's really actually a pretty big process, and you have to stay off the floor for 5 days. So we'll be taking care of that. It's a fairly costly job too, but as I said, it's a once a year or once every 2 year kind of thing, depending on the wear and tear. In the last Park and Rec Commission meeting, we talked about the gate, that new gate behind the restroom at the skate park. And I guess now it has a lock. It wasn't locked before, so people could still go back there. So they've added a lock to that. And there was also a question about smoking in or near the park. So the signage. So I don't know if the signs have come in, but they've been ordered. So just an update on that. We're moving toward putting some signs out there. I'm not quite sure where we're going to post them yet, but they will get posted. And then on to the upgrades, or the upgrades and remodel at the Void Center. So I sent some photos. Hopefully you got to see those photos just before this meeting. So fortunately, there weren't any big surprises once they took off that fancy 60s paneling on the walls and tore up all the carpet and took off those old ceiling tiles, and structurally everything looked great. So pretty excited about that. But like any project, when you open up some old buildings, you see some things that do need to be done, and one of them is like the seismic, I don't know the proper terminology for it, but
retrofit.
Thank you, seismic retrofit. And there's an additional $1,500, I think, cost for that. And then when we did our walkthrough, we decided that it would be a good time to do new windows in the office as well. So that's going to be at a cost of a couple of $1,000s too. So there's going to be, at least at this point, about a $3,500 overage to that budget, and there may be other costs as we move along. Did you want to add something?
Well, I just wanted, we're still well within the contingency.
Yeah.
So actually, it's really been all good news up to this point, which I think has allowed us to maybe consider some other enhancements that we didn't know for sure if we were going to be able to get in there, like the windows. It was very interesting that the leveling of the floor of the office had never been actually level. So that's being addressed. And sorry, I didn't mean to jump in here, but even though it's still pretty early, just kind of seeing how the floor is going to come together and have everything on one layer with the ramp outside, it just seems like it's the way that it should be. It seems like we're, instead of pushing problems or creating new problems, I think we're able to eliminate it altogether, which is really nice. Yeah. One interesting thing about the office, we had been, I don't know how well you remembered the old office, but there were those columns in there that kind of projected out into the room. And of course, everything was covered with that fake wood paneling, and it was never understood what exactly that was. Well, when they stripped everything down, they found that those were like 8x8 beams. I mean, just massive pieces of lumber. And they didn't serve any structural purpose, so they actually were able to shave it back. So we've been able to, push back just a little, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you add another 6 inches all the way around the perimeter, it makes a difference. And of course, we demoed that closet back in the corner to make a little bit more room. Yeah,
Yeah, it's coming along nicely, and Public Works has been actually upgrading the electrical system in that office, and we'll have inset lights instead of our exposed fluorescent bulbs out there in the office. So it'll look a lot more modern, of course, than it did prior. It's on as scheduled. He anticipates being finished with the office by the end of November. So that's what he's told us.
I think we got very lucky with the bidder, with the contractor. It's basically a one-man I mean, he's there every day, and it's his one project as far as we can tell. And he is in charge of every detail. He's obviously got people that help him. But we've been very happy with his responsiveness, and there just seems to be a nice, he knows everything that's going on, and you don't have different workers coming in and issues like that. And plus he's constantly there, minding the store. So it's been a real pleasant experience.
Yeah.
For everybody so far, and it seems to be very, very time effective in terms of moving everything forward. So again, when it's kind of a one-man show, he's got good control over what's happening. So I think we actually came out quite good there, going with the low bidding process. We got a good price, and it seems to be a very, very good responsive contractor.
Yeah.
I don't know off the
What
top
was
of
the-
my
what was
head.
the question?
When was it built?
Oh, gosh,
It was-
I'm not
well,
sure.
it was done in-
brought over from another location.
Yeah, the office, from what I understand, came from a different location and was moved over. And for a number of years, its dedicated purpose was to serve as kind of a lounge area. And it was never really set up for an office, and then it just kind of got converted into an office. So it's kind of nice to get everything stripped down and actually build it up so that it's going to be an office and a reception area that's got it'll be fully ADA compliant and all that. And of course, one of the things was we wanted to get rid of that, more than just awkward and inconvenient, really the dangerous step from the break room. I mean, you wouldn't build a building that way today. So that'll be completely eliminated. The change in elevation is being adjusted outside at the ramp, as opposed to trying to do something internal once you get in the building. So once you come up that ramp, and there's not that much of a change in the elevation of the ramp, so once you walk in the door, everything will all be at one level.
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
I saw the subfloor, and,
Yeah.
I'm just curious how old that building is.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's,
It even has the old shingles on one side of the wall. You can see these green shingles
yeah.
where they butted the building up that they brought over against the existing building. Yeah, it's pretty neat. You'll have to come over maybe before they
Yeah, please come by and
put all the sheetrock on. I don't know when the sheetrock will start hitting those walls, but I'm sure soon. Yeah, and he's working on weekends too, and one of our Public Works Department employees will come over and open up for him when he wants to get in there on the weekends. So it's moving along quickly. It's great.
And so far, I would say in terms of impacts to classes and activities, it's been minimum to none. And again, the contractor's been really good to work with there.
They actually, some of the staff and patrons have come in and expressed their excitement for where the temporary office is. They kind of like it as a novelty to have it right there in the middle of the building. So, and apparently that used to, yeah, I guess it does, because that was apparently the previous place where you would register. So we're back to the beginning or something prior to our time. And then they've been actually doing some other smaller things around the building. They've been painting trim, which is part of the project, painting a trim around the windows of the building and up in the eaves. So that's been going on. while the office remodel's been going on. Yeah. So please do take opportunity to come over and check it out. It's fun. And we're going to use that old floor safe that we had as a time capsule. We're thinking about just putting some recreation department related things in there, and once they do that one floor level, that'll just be covered over. So if you have something in there you'd like to place that someone will find in another couple hundred years, just bring it by.
The fall activity guide.
The fall activity guide. We are going to put an activity guide in it, actually. Yeah. So that's it on the Public Works updates, unless you think of anything else.
Do we know when they're going to get to the art room? That's, I think, the next
I think
phase.
they'll move from the main office. They've just got to do a little carpet repair in the game room, and that won't take long at all. And then off to the art room, and it will have, once again, very little impact on the programming that's going on. And fortunately, during those holiday weeks, we have time off from classes, so it is kind of the perfect time to be doing these upgrades.
So I think it kind of goes without saying, we'll have to start thinking about, it'd be nice to do some type of a, grand reopening. And, we talked about perhaps that we do that maybe at the same time that we try to, we've talked about wanting to invite folks who, work and have an interest in recreation and recreation organizations to come and meet. And that might be a good time to show off our facilities and what we've got new, and have that dialogue and that discussion. So might be a good way to get people in the door.
Do you have any updates on the Libby fountain,
Oh.
the tile with that?
I don't. Do you?
I've lost all interest in the thing. Sorry. There's so much good upgrades happening over at Sarasota. It's sort of been dropped in some ways.
Well,
I don't know about dropped. That's not a fair
I think what
statement to
happened
make,
with
but-
that is I think Public Works was hoping to get something done, and now we're kind of running into there's still things going on at the bowl and whatnot. So I think it's a matter of when they don't have events going on there, they'll try to get back into the park and the bowl, because obviously he ran into Ojai Day, and now we've got film festival and other things going on. So yeah, it should slow down here. Usually coming up there should be a break. So we'll have to check with Public Works and see where that project
I'll
is.
write a note about that. We talked about tile and all in the benches that would go in there, but it just seems to be on a long delay. But that's only because we have so much going on in the city. It's hard to get in there.
So we'll get an update on that for you.
Okay, thank you. Sophocles, do you want to go ahead with the recreation staff report?
Sure. Well, speaking of Libby Bowl, at 7 o'clock tonight, there will be a free movie put on by the Ojai Film Festival. It's a Disney nature movie, apparently. So it's free to the public, and I guess it's to kick off the whole Ojai Film Festival programming that's going on in the Valley. And I actually went on their website this afternoon, and it's just a ton of different venues and showings that are going on around the Valley. So the public, Ojai has a lot of opportunity to see some great movies. So and you could just go down the street and check it out after this meeting, which will be done well before 7 maybe. Yeah. So some things that are happening at the rec department. Flag football is going along very well. It has been, and we've just been getting a lot of positive feedback. We're very happy to have that program back. We're optimistic about what the numbers will look like next year due to the success we're having this year. The last day is in the Saturday after next. So next November 16th will be the finals of the flag football league, those who make the finals. And just almost immediately following, 2 weeks later, will be the youth basketball program. So we'll get our floor resurfaced, like I talked about, and during Thanksgiving break, and that Saturday, November 30th, is our player rating for the basketball season. We had pretty nice numbers in that league last year, somewhere around the 225 total for participants in that league, and I imagine that number will be about the same this year. In the month of October, we had 70 participants in the youth tennis program. As always, the gymnastics program pulls about 200 participants per 8-week session. So we just started another session of gymnastics in this month. There's a couple of girls, I guess, that will be competing in sectionals in Camarillo this weekend, or three of our gymnasts will be competing in this sectional meet. And if Vicky tells me that they'll probably qualify for states, which will be held in Long Beach at the end of November, I think. Yeah, at the end of November. So we have some impressive girls in that gymnastics program. That the advantage of that program being year-round is they get to stick with it, and it's their sport. It's a great program that we always talk about in these meetings. So. Friday night, tomorrow night, we'll be showing the third of those 4 free movies through the Ojai Film Society. This movie, movie on Friday night is called 400 Blows. I don't know the exact, I couldn't give you the synopsis of that movie, but it's in our activity guide. Feel free to pop that open.
How did the Psycho movie go?
Well, the first 2 movies, the attendance has been real low. I'd say like 7 to 10 kids show up. Yeah, it's hard to get kids to come and watch old movie classics, but we're gonna persevere, and we're gonna put it in the winter spring activity guide. So they've got another set of 4 movies that'll go in that guide for our next activity guide, which I'll talk about in a second. We have about 20 kids in our Kung Fu class, and then all the other classes that we offer, ballet, Spanish club, pottery, those classes are pulling good numbers too. So, yeah. What else? Oh, the winter activity guide. That'll be out on December 9th. So, and as you know, all those activity guides go out to all the public elementary schools, and we have them here at the Chamber of Commerce. We put them in the library, so it's one of our best forms of marketing, if you will. And now we're sending out a postcard leading into that activity guide, like before. Yeah.
Do you have camps going on?
During, when the school's out?
We'll actually have
For
2.
holiday.
Yeah, for the February and April break, we're going to have a pottery camp and science camps during those breaks, both the February and April spring break. Well, that's it on activity updates. Any other questions about that programming?
Sounds good. So a couple things that you have been able to pull together and implement. I think we had talked before a little bit about the starting new at golf,
Oh, right. Yeah,
which is going to be in there. And then we have an adult and a youth fly fishing class that we're going to try, see if we can get the numbers for that. Also a fencing, on guard fencing, not build a picket fence, which we had offered several years ago, I believe. And
yeah, like three years 3 years prior.
we're going to try that and see if we can get that going. And then it may be too early to announce this, but then you're also working on an outdoor, help me out here.
I've got some, I actually have this.
Okay.
I just was going on and on, so I thought I'd let someone else jump in. We're going to be offering wilderness classes. Yeah. Wilderness classes, Heather King, and she's from Ventura Wild is the organization.
And she lives here in the valley.
Yes. Yeah, so we'll be offering, you'll see it in the December 9th activity guide. But digital photography is another new class we're offering, and we're actually going to offer 3 family movie nights of our own on Saturday nights.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're going to do like an 80s theme. Maybe we haven't quite figured out the movies yet, but I have a few. The Goonies, Mrs. Doubtfire. Think those are that's my speed, but I don't know. We'll put it out to staff to see what we'll settle on. But we're excited about doing. We got that big 12 by 12 movie screen, so we're going to put it to good use, not only with the Film Society's movies, but with some of our own.
Are those free?
We're going to do it on a $3 drop-in. I mean, a $3 per person or $10 per family. So practically free, inexpensive, and we'll provide refreshments too for those movies. Yeah, let me see if there are any other new ones that I've missed. Yeah, Steve mentioned the golf. So not only it's this innovative golf program called Snag Golf. It's an acronym for starting new at golf. Snag. So Adam, actually, our newer staff, had a connection at Alevis, knew someone at the Alevis golf course, so he's connected with him and got one of their, I guess he's a well-known instructor. Can't think of his name right now, but apparently he's known in the golf world, and so he'll be offering those youth classes, and then we're going to offer adult classes in Ventura. So people from Ojai who live in Ventura can actually, after work, we're figuring to take their classes right there in Ventura at the Alevis golf course. So,
Is that
yeah.
the connection? Would you ever do it at Soul Park?
We've had contractor before through Ojai Valley Inn, so the percentage wasn't quite high enough for that golf instructor, that contractor. So we lost that contractor because of that reason. And we've inquired a few times actually through Soul Park, but they have their own programs and don't feel the need to partner with us. So but yeah, we have some, I don't know if we mentioned gardening too, but we're having a gardening class as well. A lot of new programming that you'll see in the next activity guide. Yeah. Yeah. And that's it on programming.
Next, then, we have commissioner reports and comments. And first one is update from the ad hoc committee for playground and facility planning.
And we haven't met again.
Right. I just want to let you know what our thinking is right now. I think the next task for that committee will be to start to dig into looking at options for, the actual playground equipment and vendors and whatnot. It's still a little unclear in terms of it's an issue with the budget in terms of cash flow and competing projects and whatnot. The current thinking from the city manager is if we can spend the remaining of the fiscal year working through the planning process, what items and components do we want out there. I think it would be good to try to engage the public so that we're not just trying to do it from our own perspectives on that. So I think we'll need to spend a little time at the committee level talking about how we can best achieve that. And then we would want to start coming in and actually talking to vendors, like I said, looking at components. We're not sure at this point if we're going to have the funds to be able to actually do the construction and build it in this fiscal year. We might need to push it off to sometime the second half of 2014. But at least we can go through the process of trying to nail down exactly what it is and what the community would like to see and what the options are as towards the vendors. So that would be the next step coming up in that. That's all that I have for that.
Steve, I thought we were going to maybe mention the Libby Bowl
Oh, yeah.
The special meeting that's happening on the 19th, or were you going to talk about that
I-
later on?
At whenever you would like, I can give a few things. I didn't want to jump off the topic there in case Commissioner Intner had
Well, I think
anything
that's
else you wanted to add. Okay.
And so when you're thinking the next month or two? to
Yeah.
put something together? Okay.
Right. So I will follow up with committee members on that. We did. We did meet in the last month with the folks who are interested in getting a bike park established in the city. I'm specifically not calling it a BMX park because I was told it's really not a BMX park. It's really better to refer to it as a bike park. I've asked staff to do a little research so that we could come back so that we have a little bit better idea of potentially what we're looking at here in terms of, you know, what does this activity mean in terms of liability for the city? What does it mean in terms of the maintenance obligations for the city? We'd like to hear from some of the other communities in terms of what their experiences has been. Are there particular things that we should be watching out for? You know, how do we put all this together? So we're working on that research, and then we'll be getting back together with the bike group. I had a brief conversation with Kelly Pasco today, just to let him know where we are at. And again, their thought is, you know, they would like to be able to raise the money and build the park and dedicate it to the city. So we're trying to work out all the details on that.
To look at Austin, Texas, has a really great BMX or bike park.
I
that-
think
That's a really good example. And,
I
you know,
did
in
make a note
Ventura
of
as
that
well.
before. Right.
you know, that's been really successful. There's a really good article recently written about that, so.
Right, yeah, and I am not the one to try to speak about this topic because I don't know, but, you know, there's the BMX, which is more racing and competitive geared, and then I suppose what this group is looking for is something that is more of a passive bike park where people can come in and do the jumps and go through that routine and whatnot. So, without getting too much into detail right now, one of the questions we do have is, you know, maintenance obviously would be an issue. It's, you know, one of the nice things about the skate park, yeah, certainly it does need maintenance and needs to be monitored and all that, but it's, you know, it's a hard surface. It's, you know, as opposed to with the bike park, you know, you've got issues with, you know, runoff and drainage and erosion and things like that. Again, none of these are insurmountable obstacles. It's just trying to get a handle on what it might mean for us and potentially any volunteers. And so we're working on getting that figured out. But again, you know, it's something that they would like to see happen and something that they said that they're willing to put their time and money behind to get something built. So we'll have to figure out if it's something that you know, works for the city.
I've met with them. I think that would be a great addition for another option for the kids. It's free and it is pretty low maintenance.
Right, and then one of the things that they identified was a potential location on the school district property. So we don't have the complication of trying to, gee, if we put it in Sarzati or somewhere else, what does that mean? And, you know, what does that mean long-term for park use? And does it squeeze out other uses? And so if the school district site right next to the skate park comes to be, that's beneficial from our perspective, for certain.
Well, I understand the skateboarding is an at-risk sport. What about the liability issues for the
I don't
bike?
know yet, and that is one of my top questions, Commissioner Ford. It's been stated that they're similar, and I don't know that they're similar. Logically, you would say that, okay, they probably are, but the law doesn't necessarily follow logic, and so we are checking with both with other communities and as well with our insurance authority to get some direction on that.
Yeah, it's written in the health and safety code, but it is really specified by sport, so you have to look through them. Everything from skydiving to, it just depends on, you know, who's on the list.
Right.
I think one thing that you might want to be concerned about, because a couple of tracks that I've been to, both for like motocross and BMX, they have
Uh-huh.
to water them a lot. So irrigation or water price, because I mean, some tracks require quite a bit of water, just a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's that, it's the water, how do you apply it, who applies it, who's responsible, and then, of course, what happens when you add water to dirt? Grows weeds. So, yeah, good point. Those are all questions that we have at this point. Moving on, we did take a recommendation to the city council about a memorial naming policy, and the council, in its wisdom, decided that that would be a perfect thing to kick back to the commission with the assignment of having the commission develop a policy for the council to consider. I know we're short a couple members tonight, so I'll ask if we can put that on the December agenda to appoint an ad hoc committee that could work on developing a policy. And of course, the first step that we would probably want to do is take a look at other communities' policies, just to look at those for examples and see what is working and what is not working. And then the council would like to hear back from the commission on its recommendation. So that'll be something we will put that on the agenda for December for the appointment of an ad hoc committee. Also at the December meeting, we will have a full report on Ojai Day and the financials on that. We're a little too early for this meeting. I don't want to say too much. Things look good, but I don't have any details or hard numbers as of yet, and didn't want to try to get into something preliminary. But we definitely should have something ready for the December meeting, and Amber Young will be here to give a full report on that. Wanted to also take a moment to note that this is our first meeting that is being recorded and broadcast, and just wanted to draw attention to that and thank the two lovely young women from Nordhoff High School who are here tonight volunteering to make that happen. So thank you to both of you and to the high school for helping to make this happen for the city. I know it helped every little bit that just helps us to connect a little bit more with the community and keep people informed with what is happening. So thank you two for being here tonight, and we look forward to continuing that relationship. Moving on, we got some good news yesterday. Just about when you think you're not going to hear something, sometimes you hear something, and it's to the positive. We had pretty much given up on, at this point, on whether we would be able to see any funding come from the county to replace or supplement the funds that we had received in the past from the CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant Program, which funded the REV voucher program to help pay for low-income youth to take recreation classes. As you're well aware, the CDBG funding was no longer made available to us starting this fiscal year, and we're in the midst of implementing our own pilot program to provide scholarships. And then yesterday, we received kind of a bolt out of the blue, some good news from County Supervisor Bennett's office, that they are willing to consider an agreement that would provide $3,500 a year that would be dedicated specifically to non-city county residents. So we'll have to work out the details on the agreement for that. And as soon as we can get that figured out, we would be able to get some money from the county then that we could provide to scholarships for county residents. And that just means more money than in the pot for city residents. So, so that is good news. Every little bit helps with the scholarship program. So we'll be working on developing an agreement with the county on that. Let's see, also just wanted to mention that I know that the commission was interested in the agreement that the city has with the Libby Bull Foundation. And just a reminder that there is a special joint meeting between the city council and the Libby Bull Foundation Board of Directors. That is set for November 19th. I'm sorry, I'm assuming that's a 7 o'clock start, as I don't see that otherwise noted on here. So I'm assuming that would be a 7 o'clock meeting on the 19th, and certainly the commissioners are welcome to attend that meeting. It will be, again, a joint meeting with the city council and the Libby Bowl Board of Directors.
Is that televised?
Yeah, we plan to televise that. I'm not aware of any reason that we wouldn't broadcast that. Yes, I'm getting the thumbs up. We are planning to broadcast that. Thank you, Mr. Hahn. Also coming up, there is no council meeting on the November 26th. That's canceled because it's proximity to the Thanksgiving holiday. We do have then after the November 12th meeting, we have just one regular meeting scheduled then for the remainder of 2013, and that would be on December 10th. I'm not seeing anything on there that would appear to be of interest to the Parks Commission. And that's pretty much what we have for our agenda planning at this point. They will get back. The December 24th meeting is also canceled, as you can imagine, and then the council will get back to its regular meeting scheduled January on the 14th and the 28th. That is all that I have for my report. Anything additionally from you, Mr. Constance?
Nothing to add except what a great day Ojai Day was. It was fantastic. The skate event that Sunday actually helped to put on was amazing too. I don't remember the names of the persons that you got together to help run that event.
Ashley and Brian Wilson ran the skate contest. It was really successful. We probably had, I want to say, about 70 kids skate and adults in the bowl contest and the street contest and the vendors. I brought some photos. It was really fun. And Sophocles came by and checked it out. It was fun.
Yeah, so it was such a positive feel, and the few people that I ran into that day were just excited about how the layout was and how everything was put together. And so we always enjoy the returnees of those vendors that come in, the camel rides and the bubble rollers, and our own CrossFit program being right out there on Ojai Avenue is just a great way for the community to get together and celebrate. So we can embrace that program every year like we always do, and a lot of happy vendors too, because it was such a well-attended event. So looking forward to just doing it again next year, and hopefully Miss Young will be agreeable to
We hope so.
lead that again. She did a great job, Amber. Lots of pats on the back and kudos for her.
Well, and knowing Miss Young, I'm sure she'll probably stand up here at the next meeting and tell you everything that went wrong, because that's usually where her focus is. But that's usually a mark of a good coordinator, is they don't rest on their laurels, and they hear the feedback and the criticism, and they try to address it as best they can. So it seemed like it was a good event this year.
Yeah, I only heard good things. Do any commissioners have any comments or any reports? Okay, then I guess it's Mayor Blatt's turn to speak.
Hello, everyone. I don't really have anything in particular to report to you tonight, but I'm here to answer any questions if you have any, other than the fact that I think Ojai Day was a tremendous success. It seemed like it was well attended. I know a bunch of vendors that absolutely thought it was wonderful, so it's great. Sunday, you're looking quite well in the chairman position there.
Quite nervous.
Just remember, because you're being recorded, that you have to keep the microphones on.
Thank you, Mayor.
We, even at the council level, every once in a while have to look back at the lady that's recorded, that's doing the broadcasting on the engineering of the council meetings, and she'll let us know when we don't have our mics on, because not only can it be recorded, but nobody at home can hear then. Anything, I haven't been over to see the construction. I plan on stopping over.
Yes, please do.
I
It's
will.
it's amazing. Just the inside, like I said, when they took the old wood paneling off, it was just nice to see what a great the structure itself was, how intact it was, and pleasantly surprised because
Yeah.
we were all a little nervous about
That is
what we were
pretty
going to
amazing.
see behind the walls, and
That is pretty
turned
amazing.
out to be great, actually. Yeah, structurally sound.
This is going to be a busy weekend in Ojai. Not only is the film festival here, but the Ojai Arts Festival is here as well. I don't know how many days that lasts. Do you know, Steve?
I don't. Sorry, I do not.
But the one thing that I found very interesting about the film festival is, for many years I went along thinking that it was just an opportunity to see a bunch of films. But it's a whole lot more than that. There's workshops. There's probably as many workshops as there are films. And it's acting workshops and mixing workshops and directing workshops, any kind of a workshop you can imagine having to do with the filmmaking, from cinematology to cinematography to screenwriting, and everything that you do, except for the thing tonight, which is free. Any seminar, any workshop, any film you go to is $10. So it's a real bargain. And some of the people that are teaching the workshops are well-respected individuals. Some of them have won Academy Awards. So it's an opportunity for a lot of people to participate in the world of filmmaking. It's not just going to watch a film. Any questions for me? No? Thank you for all your hard work. It does not go unnoticed, believe me. Thank you.
Okay,
So
thank
I
you.
apologize for the brevity of the agenda. There's
Yeah, it's nice.
a lot of
and
things
short
going
tonight.
on. But we will resume in December with our discussion on the municipal code, and we'll start, we'll get back to going through that section by section, but we thought it would be best to have that discussion with the chair and the full commission here. So that was the reason for holding off on that.
Okay, I think that's it. I wanted to say thank you to the Nordhoff students as well, because this is something we've wanted to do for a long time, so everyone at home can watch these meetings and, know what's going on. And we encourage you still to come and speak and be a part of it, so I think meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
That's good.